it leaves a lot of things like when they get divorced. I guess they don't. Never mind. What up, Search fam? Sharde here. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new, my name is Sharde. I'm out here curating and co-creating a cool ass life and telling you about the books I've read in the month of April. Now, whether this is your first time coming across my little corner of the internet or you keep coming back, consider joining my internet family because, it's a fun time over here. I talk about books. I show y'all where I'm traveling to and how I do it on a budget and pack smarter, all of the things. So think about it. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and be notified every time I post a new video. So my voice is getting better. I can be heard, which is great because not being heard for 2 weeks is wild. But as I said, we're talking about my reads for April. And of course, handy dandy iPad to tell y'all what I read digitally and auditorially. And then the stack of trophies. So April was a much lighter reading month for me because I literally was on my sick bed most of the month. And I didn't have the capacity to do a whole lot of reading while I was ill because I was dying. Physical books first, per usual. This month was also, I found, more of a comfort read month for me. I read quite a few books that I've read already, and I may go into I don't know. We'll see what happens. So first I read Let's Talk About Love by Claire Kahn. And this is a YA asexual interracial romance. So this is about Alice, who is 19 or 20, something like that. I think she's 20, sophomore in college. And her girlfriend breaks up with her because she's not interested in sex the way her girlfriend wants. And her girlfriend sort of like attaches sex to attraction and love and all of these things. And so she ends up living with her best friends, Ryan and Feeney, who are also in a relationship. And they've been friends forever. And Alice works at the library. She's into all things cute and aesthetic, so she has her cutie code. And she meets a guy at work named Takumi, who's Japanese. And he pretty much breaks her brain. And so it's about her coming to grips with the fact that she might actually have an attraction to Takumi. What does that mean? Takumi also actually really likes her. It's a very cute book. It's a very sweet book, but also it talks about family dynamics as Alice is trying to do her own thing against her, high achieving Black family's expectations who want her to be a lawyer, and then her navigating her friendships. And her friendship with Feeney is kind of fraud because Feeney is a bully just in general. But she loves Alice, and navigating her two best friends being in a relationship with one another and wanting to get married and all this and feeling like a third wheel. It's very cute. I read this probably maybe once a year at least, because I resonate with Alice so much as someone who identifies as being on the asexual spectrum, and having only I've sort of came to grips with the terminology and stuff as an adult. And I could talk more about that at another juncture. Anyway, so next I reread Choosing Theo by Victoria Avalon, which is the first book in the Clocanian series. This is one of my favorite series that I've come across in the last few years. I read Choosing Theo a couple of times a year too. And this is my physical copy that I have tabbed. And so it is so good. It is about, it's a romance. It's kind of spicy in places, but the main character, Jade, is one of a group of Earth women who get abducted, and she gets dropped off in Cliconia, and pretty much survives in the forest or whatever for a few days. She gets found, and they're like, okay, well, because your planet is what they call a class 4 planet, that don't know about space for real. Like, they don't know that other planets are inhabited in galaxies and all this good stuff. So we can't send you back, sis. So what we can do is you gotta stay in the capital city for a year, or on the planet for a year. And then you go wherever you want, but you can't go back to the Earth because it's a class 4 planet. This class 2 planet, and it's gonna violate the laws in the Intergalactic Council or whatever. And so she has to participate in the marriage ceremony that the Tremontans do, and get a husband. Now, the husbands, like all the men in Cliconia, have to participate in the marriage ceremony. Their marriages last like 3 months because they are not producing children and they're at risk of extinction. So like the women they pick husbands, and the men have to go to husbandry school. And so Jade has to do this to live with someone for 3 months before she can be left on her own to make a decision and learn about the planet or whatever. And so she picks Theo. Theo is considered monstrous and ugly because he has like dark markings all over his body, as opposed to like the sort of light silver markings that people have on their person. So Jade thinks that they're tattoos, and she's like, why is everybody tripping? Because he real fine. And so Theo's grumpy. Theo's grumpy. He hates everyone. He doesn't trust Jade because he's also a mercenary. It's them getting together, but also trying to figure out like what the conspiracy is. How did she get to Cliconia, and like who's behind it or whatever. It's a fantastic series. I love this series. It's so good. The 8th book is coming out, and I can't wait. I got an arc that I'm finna read in the month of May. I can't wait. I also read, this is one of my other sort of, I love this series, and I'm rereading it. And that is the Hellbent series. I went, a big congratulations to Aurora Asher because she's gotten picked up for formal publication. So this is the first book. The first 2 books are out. And of course, you know, they got the fanciness. So I went and bought the first 2 books because My Funny Demon Valentine, I love this book so much. And this is about, the series follows 5 demons who have escaped hell. They're just trying to live a normalish life on Earth, but they can't because they are like royalty in hell, including like the king. And I can't wait for his book. But so Ash is cursed. He's beautiful, but he's cursed so that nobody sees him. Everybody think he's like real dull. But he goes out on their first night in Earth, in Montreal, and they go to a club, and he sees Ava, who is a violinist and just a musician, and like she does violin, all these instruments, and she's gorgeous, and like he actually can enjoy music, which he couldn't. He does like everything is supposedly very dull for Ash too. Like food has no taste, you know, whatever. And so he listens to Ava, and Ava sees him, and she comes up to him and she's like, "Hey, you want to get a drink?" And he's like, "You can see me?" And he's like, "Yeah, and you real sexy. Like, what's good?" And his brothers are just like, "You can see him." They're such buttholes, and it's so funny. Like it's very sweet, very spicy. This one's spicy. So it follows Ash and Ava's budding romance, and like Ava doesn't understand. Like she thought she saw some demons, but she's not sure. She thinks she's hallucinating. Come to find out, there's a plot twist, and like why Ava can actually see Ash for who he is. I'm not gonna get y'all that. Pick it up. It's a good book. It's a good time. And then lastly, this is a book that I've had on my shelf and I could not get into it, like reading. So I listened to the audiobook, and that is Lore of the Wilds by Annalie Sbrana. And it was all right. Like, once I got into it, it was an okay fantasy. Like, it's supposed to be cozy fantasy, and like it was marketed as a little bit of like, why choose? I'm not seeing that. I don't know that I'll read the second book, but it is about Lore, who lives in this town where in the country the Fae sort of run things, and like these Fae come looking for something in her grandparents' shop. They end up afterward destroying part of her city, and and they're looking for her grandmother, I think. And so she tells them she's the owner of the shop. He ends up having to go to the capital city and work in the castle, looking for a book in that the Fae are looking for, but they can't go in the room because of a curse that's on the library. And so she goes to do that to try to get money to send back to her family, but she starts to realize like there are powers afoot, and she's like wanted powers because she hates the Fae so much, and it's a lot going on. I really wanted to like it, but I did not like it. So and I ended up getting, like, I got a fancy copy from Satisfaction when it released. So I'm probably going to give this away or sell it. Yeah, I wish I liked it more. From audiobooks, I read Black Fatigue, How Racism Erodes the Mind, Body, and Spirit. And it dragged me by my edges. Like, there was a lot of information in it where I knew the information, but like hearing it and hearing somebody say it, I would be in the car, like on my way to school, crying. Because yeah, the notion of what it means to be Black in the United States is exhausting. And that's a Black person who experiences, a Black woman that experiences these things, it is heavy. And so, like, it was a good book, especially because the way that Mary Frances Winters organizes it, it is by, like, how, like, she gives a sense of Black fatigue and, like, how white supremacy works, and then how Black fatigue works for Black women, Black men, and Black children. And so that, I was digging it. It was cool. I also, as an audiobook, did Shadows of Perl, which is the House of Marion book 2. And it was fine. The characters just work my nerves because, I don't know, maybe it's the impulsivity of it all and like the sort of blind activity without like stopping and really thinking about things, and like, so, which is fine because it's a YA novel and they're kids, essentially. So I get it, but it just irritates me. But so this is picking up after Kel pretty much sides with her Tashana, and the orb that holds magic is cracking, and Jordan goes back to being like a dragon. He gets promoted to being the second in command to the head dragon, and he's like looking for Tashana users, but he's also looking for Kel and his brother because he wants to kill her. He hate her so bad. And she is trying to find her mama, and they trying to find her, and like she ends up at the House of Perl, and so she like it starts to unravel more about the magical society and like nefarious plans to actually take over and subsume magic as the orb is breaking and all of the things. So like, again, the world building and the premise is good, but the characters got on my nerves. So there's that. And then I read as an audiobook Luca by Gray Huffington, and I saw this on a couple of videos from other booktubers, and I didn't like it. I did not like it. Pissed me off, and I really just like hate finished it because I am just, maybe it's just me, like Luca as a man is a man. Great. I get it. I get why the girlies went up for him because he did the things. But also, I'm just not a fan of like the way the Insta love was rendered. and like written was just not good to me, because I'm like, girl, you literally met this man 48 hours ago. You talking about he the one? Por favor. But, you know, am I going to read the second book in the series? Probably, because I want to know what happens to his sister. But yeah, I didn't care for the book itself or the way it was written. It just did not jive with my own sensibilities. But I understand why people like it, because Luca, like, he's fresh out of jail because he killed his sister's boyfriend who was abusing her. He was beating the brakes off her. And as the oldest sibling, Luca shot his ass. And like, I get that. And so he gets out. His sister loves him. His siblings are like, they love him. And I love that. But they also are like they're like in a drug empire. They daddy at the top, whatever. But it's like strong black family, whatever. And so he's got money. And like, he decide that Ever, who's one, left her abusive husband with her 2 children, who are really cute. I love how the woman narrator reads the kids. It was adorable. But so Luca and Ever meet because Ever's riding with Luca's sister Lyric to pick him up from the jailhouse. And he's like, oh, she fine. She mine. And like, it's them, and she's like, oh my God, he's the finest thing I've ever seen. And they fall in love. And he's like, within the first couple of weeks, he's trying to get her knocked up. And like, but they struggle with the fact that he wants to do everything for her, and like, he got money, so he's like, I'm gonna put you up in the girls and da-da-da-da-da, and we gonna do all these things. And she's like, child, this is how I got messed over last time with my husband. And so, and it leaves a lot of things like, when they get divorced, I guess they don't. Never mind. I also read the next 2 books in the Cursed Legacy series, Shadowheart and Twisted Soul. They were good enough for me to be deeply invested in finishing it. They continue to follow Maven and her quintet, her four menses. Things have gone awry at the schoolhouse. The primordial beings have taken over because of like dangers that are happening at the divide, which it keeps pretty much like the nether region from getting into the world or whatever. But Maven is hunting the primordials, and she tried to kill all their ass. And then we also find out like more about her as someone who came from the nether region, why she was there. She's like starting to find out about her family and all these, and the boys, they're coming around, and she's coming around to them as well, and they start to bond. And like, she doesn't have a heart because she has like a shadow heart that was fashioned for her by the person who took her. But kind of find out she can actually bond with her quintet, and that starts happening through the next 2 books. And so that's very interesting, and they actually does break the boys' curses or whatever. And so now the 4th book just came out. I think it came out late April. So it's like I finished the 3rd book and I was like, okay, cool, I can take a break or whatever before the 4th book comes out, because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna read it, because I want to know how it ends. It's gonna be like an epic battle and whatnot. So I'm gonna finish out the series. Series is pretty good so far. I don't mind it. Those are the books that I read in the month of April. I'm hoping, I don't know that I'll read more books in the month of May. I'm gonna pick up Babel in the month of May. That's gonna happen, and I am in a reverse harem kind of mood, so I'm gonna probably be reading a lot of reverse harem in May, because that's where my mood reading is going. Anyway, how y'all doing? What you reading? Talk to me in the downstairs area. Like, let me know in the comment section. And as always, friends, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend about the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.